14 minutes past the hour now on Studio B at the RNC. And our own Jim Angle's inside as well, and we've been talking throughout the day about what it is the president needs to accomplish. Jim, what are the two biggest challenges that George W. Bush faces coming into this convention?
Well, Shep, obviously the president has a little hill to climb on both Iraq and the economy. You look at the polls in recent weeks, you have a number of people who either say Iraq wasn't worth it, or that given the information that we knew at the time that it was the wrong decision to make. Now, you still have a majority who believe it was the right decision to make, but a slim majority. So the president obviously has some explaining to do there, and he will do it here. And on the economy, of course, he makes the case at every stop, as he does, as he's campaigning coming into this convention, that he has a lot more to do, that there are more jobs need to be created, but that everything is in place for economic growth. The Democrats, of course, attack that. Those are the two big issues, but he does have some good news coming into this as well, and that is that in the most recent 3 polls, his approval rating has now bounced up over 50%, 51% in 2 polls, including our own, 52% in another, and that is key, Shep, because no incumbent has ever won re-election with a job approval rating below 50. The president was stuck in the mid to upper 40s for quite a while. Now he's up over that magic number of 50, within spitting distance, his advisors say, of the territory from which you got major re-election efforts both from Bill Clinton and Ronald Reagan.
Jim, it seemed like everybody really was expecting the Democrats to get some sort of bounce after their convention, expecting that by now they'd be up some number of points, different points. They got no bounce. Does that change anything? Does the conventional wisdom, if you will, change as a result of that?
Well, it changes the optimism of the people working for President Bush.
Does it mean you don't have to go quite as negative, maybe?
It could allow you to adopt a different strategy at some point, and also different tactics. What has traditionally happened, Shep, is that challengers to an incumbent coming out of their convention hit their highest point after their convention, their very highest point. Obviously, if that is the highest point for John Kerry, he would be in trouble. The other point is that most challengers who have won have had double-digit leads going into the other guy's convention, because you need a little cushion before he gets to go in front of the media spotlight and capture people's attention for a week and lay out his case. So obviously you like to have a cushion going into the other guy's convention. John Kerry doesn't have one, and in fact, in a lot of recent polls, the president is either down 1 or 2 or up 1 or 2. They are still stuck nose and nose, and that is pretty good news for the Bush people at this point.
Are they saying why they think that is, Jim? Because, you know, a lot of the buzz is, though they don't seem to want to admit it publicly, that those Swift boat ads, whether you believe in them or not, that those Swift boat ads might have taken the edge off and made John Kerry lose even more of the military.
Well, it definitely affected the luster of John Kerry's service, and as you say, they're vigorously disputed, but clearly from the polls, a number of people, at least in a number of people's minds, it raised questions. There's a very small number who believe he actually lied, but it does raise questions. That is one of the few things that has happened during this period when the numbers for the president have gotten better. That, and the fact his aides say that he was out campaigning every day, out making his case, and as he did today, talked for about an hour and a half, and talked for about 45, 50 minutes, took questions for another 30, 40 minutes from people. You do that every day, day after day. Your message tends to get out there, and perhaps that is having an impact. They really can't point to anything else, Shep.
Sure. It'll be interesting to see what the clutter was like for that. Jim, I don't know why it's necessary to do this, but for the whole time you've been talking, this dude up here with a gavel is like testing the gavel. I think we've had 100 gavel tests, Jim.
Well, I thought it was a dance tune for a moment, and I was about ready to break into something, Shep, but it would have been ugly.
The gavel works. It's confirmed.
And the rhythm is a little off. It's really not my tune.
This is a Fox News alert. The gavel works. Now back to you. Guess who's coming in next? Come over. Jim, good to see you. Thank you.
Thanks, Shep.
Tricky and I are going to talk about protests in a minute. We went to some parties last night. Rick, sorry.
That's all right.
I don't think that mic works, Hollywood. It didn't work in the last segment. We were going to talk about protests in a minute.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of them. Have you ever seen New York in this way before? I mean, you've lived here 15, 20 years.
Honestly, the last time I've seen it the way it looked at 3 a.m. when I came to work, and last night was 9/11. The streets are empty except for where all these protesters are. There's a lot of police on the streets. There are streets that are closed off. It looks very much like it did then.
Yeah, I got on the subway this morning to go to work, and in Chinatown, where I live, it was a normal day. Walked out into Midtown Manhattan around Rockefeller Center, which is where Fox News Channel is. It was like a holiday.
Right. Well,
nobody there.
It is a holiday week, and a lot of people are taking advantage of this week to leave town because they don't want to be here when there are protesters in the street who are causing trouble.
We're going to come up on a hard break in a minute, but we're going to tell you specifics of what these protests have been like and how they've organized. There is a method to the madness of the protests, rest assured. And in addition, in just a few minutes, Jane Skinner is going to join us in the Ville. You're on Studio B from FNC at MSG at the RNC. Good to have you with us. Yo, yo, yo.